You know, I didn't really know how to open this. Like, how do you open an introductory podcast? Like, hello. No, I mean like, I don't know. My name's Sammy Hutt. I'm a comedian. I'm a shitty open mic comedian. Also an electrician. I don't know. I sat on this idea for about like 6 months. Yeah, maybe three. I took us like a 6 month hiatus from doing stand up to go get my electrical license, which is worth it. You know, trying to get your life together when you're young, I would say is worth it. Trying to get something done. Although when you have that time off from a passion or hobby you like to do, making sure this thing is actually working. Um, when you take time off from a passion or a hobby or just an interest, you start to think about it a little bit. And I realized, all right, I think the way that comedy is going is a lot more online. I mean, obviously, stand up is always going to be like stand up, right? Like in person. But no, I'm a firm believer in like what's the online scene? Like how deep does it go? Like when are we gonna get like the Ready Player One glasses with the suit with the whole thing where you enter this universe, like the metaverse, but actually metaverse, metaversey, very metaversey. Yeah, but who am I? I'm a shitty open mic comedian in the Providence, Rhode Island scene. That's cool. Sometimes visit Boston. I do electrical work. I'm a licensed electrician in Massachusetts. That's gay. It's the gayest trade, at least. Not that I got anything against people, but that's just the joke in the community, trade community. No, yeah, I don't know. I started with electrical first, believe it or not. When I was in high school, I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life. I mean, like most people, but I had a feeling that just the college route was never for me. See, I feel like when I was in school, see, I was in the school system from mid to late 2000s till 2020. I graduated the class of 2020. And I generally feel like there was a big pre-COVID, I would say probably from the 2000s to 2020, there's a big push for everyone to go to college, everyone get a degree. You'll figure it out. I don't know. I just never had interest in school like that. I don't know what it was at the time. I think it was just something about someone who I can't even comprehend what's going on in their mind is trying to teach me and how to think. I don't know. I always loved history though, like history classes. I was interested in science, even math. I think stuff like that was mostly history was cool. But I think that was because of just like solid things that were going on, not really stuff that was trying to influence you one way or another, like standardized testing and stuff. And I mean it's important, right? Like you need like standards for people to do stuff. That way you don't have a hack walk in and, do open heart surgery on you, even though he's only at like a like I wouldn't even say a dentist, like a fucking like a veterinarian, not even a veterinarian, like a fucking like a hiring a drywaller to do open heart surgery on you. That's why testing is important like that. But hear how crisp that water bottle is on this mic. First episode cut me some slack. I'm gonna be all over the place. Um, no, but going back to my point, like schooling, I don't know, it was just never really for me. And I ended up breaking into the trades first. Yeah, that was actually a funny story. It's kind of weird. I feel like how most guys get into it. Um, from what I can tell, when I first started my apprenticeship, most of the guys I met, it was mostly their family was blue collar, or they had a family member that was in the industry that wanted their sons to get in. My old man, he's a white collar guy. He works in offices, so the only reason why he kind of was on board with it was because when I was 16, my dad took me to a Chinese restaurant and we sat in the booth. It was probably my sophomore year of high school, I believe, junior year, somewhere between that. And he told me, he said, "So what do you want to do with your life? Because I know you're not going to college." Said something along those lines. And yeah, and that's like what kind of brought him into it. But I think the main thing that brought me into the trades was when I was young, I wasn't really into the normal crowds, I guess, whatever normal is these days. I don't know. I didn't really have a lot of friends my age in middle school, high school. Didn't really know a lot of people. I met like two people from some classes, and they were the smoking weed, who cares types of people. And one of those guys I ended up becoming friends with because he was my neighbor at the time. And one day he gave me a call and said if he could come over because we've been hanging out, because he was my like only friend back when I was probably like a freshman in high school, and he was probably a junior or senior. I think it was a senior. And he swung by and he handed me a pamphlet to a local trade school. This was before the the Chinese restaurant, the Chinese restaurant sit down conversation. The realest shit happens always in those booths at the Chinese restaurants. There's always something going on. But no, a buddy of mine, he came through and he gave me a pamphlet to a trade school, and he said, "Sam, I'm gonna quit selling weed and all this other shit and get into HVAC. I think you should try out electrical." And I said, "Okay." It's not like I had anything else in my head, Not like I had anything else in my mind, I guess. I don't know, when you're young, when you're like, probably around the age of like 15, 16, I feel like you don't really know what's going on. You might have your interests, you might have your sports, clubs, friends, family. I kind of had some of that, not really. I had some family around. I had some influences. Not really great influences, but I had something at least. But when I should bring more water next time. When I was that age, you kind of just go with like what kind of piques you. And for me, what was piquing my interest wasn't sitting down and studying and listening to people tell me what they think and what how I should learn this and that. And you know I think mainstream teaching is a little bit complicated, like trying to teach 30 people in a classroom. Like how do you get to each student? How do you make sure each student passes? Also, it's an effort thing. Partially on my side was I never really just gave a damn. I I remember I went to at the time I was friends with this guy. Me and some buddies of mine went over to his place, and we sat down around a fire, and his dad was out there drinking, smoking with us. What a guy. And he was a teacher at the school, high school, and we were all chatting. And I remember this guy, he was smoking a little bit, having a good time. He was giving his honest opinions about students. So I asked him about myself, and he said, Sam, he said to me, "Sam, you were a smart kid, but you just never really tried enough." And he was right. I didn't. I didn't care. Who would care? Why do I care about geometry and shapes when I never fucking use it? Unless I was really into maybe graphic design. Who's into graphic design at 60? Like what's up with that? I don't. When you actually use shapes, besides like engineering, who has interests in like getting angles of triangles, I don't know, maybe if I was into like really cool design, and I don't know, maybe it's like an art thing, right? Like you're drawing triangles, trying to shapes to make it line up and look good. I mean, I do electrical work now, so I kind of get like you have to do math to like bend pipe, believe it or not. When you bend a piece of pipe, there's like a subtraction. It's EMT pipe or rigid, but we use EMT. I do residential work mostly, so we do a lot of like EMT stuff, and that requires a little bit of math, a little bit of angling, make it look nice, visually appealing. Excuse me, but you know, like why would I care when I'm 16 years old? I think that's another thing too. Is like I was definitely around during maybe the modern hype of gaming. I don't maybe a little bit later, 2016 era of gaming, 2015, 2016. So all the good stuff came out. A lot of good stuff was already out there on sale. New stuff was still coming out, updates for all this other stuff. Technology's getting crazier. And, when you're going from that to high school where you don't really know anyone and you don't really care about a whole lot, it's like, why should I care? It's kind of tough. I don't know. I didn't really my dad cared. I don't want to say I didn't have parents that cared. My dad cared. My mom, you know, moms. They try. Not always, but they do. My mom didn't really care. So I was gaming a lot at her house, and my dad's was a little bit more strict, a little bit more focus, go outside, read. Kind of thankful for that. Kind of picked up the hobby of reading a little bit from him. Definitely a good skill to have, honestly, if you're able to sit down and read a book. I would say even listen to an audiobook. I mean, like if you could just like sit down and do it. I usually drive when I listen to an audiobook, not read while I drive, listen to an audiobook. But when you're that age and you have all this stuff around you, it's like, why should I care? I mean, I think that's kind of like an issue today with like you hear about all these college kids going through college using just ChatGPT to talk their way through. There's this new joke going around. Back in my day, you had to cheat really hard to get by, But that's kind of the truth. It's like if you actually really had to try and cheat, you're at least learning something. Now it's just you type in a few things in a GPT and bing bada boom, you got your answer. Yeah, I'm gonna bring a bigger bottle of water next time. I don't know what I was thinking. Now I gotta clip this phone and get more water. Yeah, so that's kind of what pointed me into the trades was I just didn't care enough. I'm thankful I'm in it though. It's I've my tough times and I have my good times. Um I just liked like working with my hands, so it's pretty cool playing with stuff, touching stuff, just like learning how to do things. It's interesting. Always new issues, hills to overcome. And no, I definitely recommend it to people who want to like make money but don't want to sit through this whole institution of going to school, going to debt. You don't have to go in serious debt, but still a little bit of debt and work out of it. I mean, even trade schools are a little bit pricey. It all depends. But even just going and sitting through all these classes so you could work one job. I mean, like, why do you need 7 different classes to go work one? I guess you could switch fields and all this stuff with certain degrees, but still, you get my point. Like why? Who cares? Maybe it's just me. But that's what kind of captivated me. And I recommend it to people who either are getting out of high school, still in high school, or already out of high school, way late out of my age. I'm 24. People my age who got out of college, and people who didn't even go to college, and maybe they want to do something with themselves, work with their hands, get a little bit dirty, make some serious money. No, trades is definitely the way to go. There's just a lot of different alleyways to go about it. There's like skill trees to it. Turns out it's not just like become an electrician, work with wires all day. No, I mean, the industry is just so complex. I mean, you got industrial, you got residential, you got commercial, you got fire alarm. This thing's still recording, right? Yeah, this thing's still recording. You got low voltage. I mean, high voltage, linemen. It goes on, and there's a million different things you can learn, and I don't think the learning ever stops. And to top it off, the technology is always going to improve. I mean, even with plumbing, right? Like, you got new different variations of toilets, new houses being built. I mean, shit's always breaking down. Shout out to the plumbers. Those guys are the real hero. HVAC guys are the real heroes of this story. God bless their souls working in those attics. I could do attic work, but it just sucks in the heat. I mean, like, that's just going back to the point. Electrical is like that. Plumbing is like that. HVAC's like that. Shit, carpentry, drywall, painting. I mean, there's different skill sets for each. A lot of different alleyways to go about it. But I hope this is still recording. Yeah, it's still recording. Yeah, it's cool, though. It's cool. I think also, like, when you start working with your hands, especially in the trades, you start realizing there's a level of, like, improv you kind of got to do with shit. You got to learn, you got to figure stuff out. I don't mean improv isn't like hack shit in, I don't mean like having Indian street wiring, shit going all loosey goosey. No, I mean like actual like, oh, this is a problem. How do we fix this? What's the fastest way to fix this? And it's kind of cool. Kind of learn how to do a lot of stuff. You kind of learn that troubleshooting mindset. Yeah, this is the website I'm creating. Move. I didn't really plan on the TV mount, I just kind of put it there. So I'll move. Yeah, I used Chat GPT to code it. I probably spent about like 4 hours, not even, just like having it code what I wanted it to do. It was just really interesting because I would go through the process of like typing in what I want, testing it out, seeing what it looks like, and then going back to chat and retyping. And you might say anyone can do that, but I mean, just the fact of like figuring out how to do stuff, how to troubleshoot, it takes time. You learn these lessons of like patience and just how to deal with it, And I think that's actually kind of a really important skill to have is dealing with patience. And don't get me wrong, other fields I think will really teach you that, like maybe going into like finance or something or um yeah, I didn't actually go to college, so I don't know. But maybe a HR. I don't know. Fucking being patient. I guess HR. They really just get rid of people, So well, they don't have to be patient about shit. But no, just learning how to just deal with problems and roll with them. And something in the trades you'll actually learn. You kind of learn how to deal with people, but give or take, everyone's different, and there's always going to be different challenges. Yeah, but the trade work. It's not a bad field to be in right now. Also, you can't get outsourced by AI, which is pretty big. Let's talk about that real quick. Let's talk about what's going on, right? I mean, for the past like what 20 years, trade work was like stigmatized as like dirty work for people who aren't intelligent. Yeah, yeah. Okay, but you see those skyscrapers that those union boys are building? You know how complex that shit is to run, to work? You know how many people it takes? You know how the organization is? You know? Like sure, maybe a contractor and two carpenters can add in a side addition to your house. Take some math, take some skills. You know how complex a multi-resi building is? Skyscrapers, the technology, what it takes to run it smoothly and safely so people don't die when they touch the metal or people don't overheat or don't get stuck in elevators. It's a lot, it's a lot of stuff, a lot of coordination. These people need to be highly skilled to do it so you don't die, so people don't die. It's even in residential work, what I do. It's like if you don't do something right and something could go wrong, really wrong. Houses could burn down, shit could fall off from the ceiling, people could get hurt. That's not okay. Takes it, it takes definitely a level of intelligence for someone to do, the really good work. I mean, anyone can technically do the work, but for really good work, definitely there's that skill level. And yeah, with that stigma, I mean, no one for the past like 20 years is really going into them, like no real millennials were going into the trades. And then you got my generation coming in. Now you got like Gen Z, not Gen Z, you got Gen Z coming in because we see the writing on the walls. A lot of kids my age or either were going to plan on going to college or wanted to go to college, do this or do that. They saw how no one's like the job market's shit right now, Like I was at a extended family dinner recently. I was talking to like three of these people that I'm related to, not blood, but I'm there, I'm present. And the three of them were telling me two of them are unemployed and having a tough time finding a job. And the other one's, working a job they don't even really care about, what it seems like, not that they don't care, but like that's not what they want to do as their life thing. And yeah, when I just hear shit like that, you see shit online, you start to realize like, oh, this could be the way things are going, Shit's getting outsourced between, people, AI, other stuff that I don't even know of yet. And yeah, makes you realize, okay, what's a field where I can't lose my job that easy? Trade work, baby. Fucking pays the bills, tell you that much. Um no, it's important though. I think it's important. And Weirdly enough, I think that stigma is still there, but it's definitely fading away now. I mean, like I said, just look at what's going on with all these college kids getting out of school and can't find a job, especially in like STEM fields. I live in New England, specifically Mass. I mean, all that's pushed really, I feel like, for going to college is going to STEM, computer science, this or that. And yeah, look at the market right now. Like a lot of these young kids, I feel like might be struggling to get a job, not everyone. This isn't for, I'm not saying everyone, obviously people are getting in and getting in that work. And I respect that a lot. In fact, all you white collar hustlers out there fucking putting in the work for a better future. Shout out to you, brother. I can't relate with that level of, white collar, but I get it. I got family who does it. It's definitely, you got to deal with a lot of people. You got to deal with a lot of things, a lot of issues. It's a lot, I get it in that sense. I don't work it, but I get it. And shout out to you for doing it. I respect that a lot. Just like trying to get a job, trying to add to society. That's a good thing. Good job. Keep doing that. But yeah, no, I mean, all my trade workers, love you guys. The world may not care about you, but Sammy Hutt does. It's tough. It's tough. I don't know. None of my family's blue collar. I'm the only blue collar guy in the family. Trying to represent the family name. Trying to do something with myself. It's not easy. It's not impossible. It's definitely hard. It's got its challenges. I think everything's got its challenges, though. You just got to pick and choose your battles. What's worth it and what isn't. Is this something I'm willing to fight and die for? Is this something I'm willing to put in the work for? The blood, sweat, and tears. You gotta figure that out. Figure out what you want. But for anyone who's maybe confused, maybe they don't want to spend the 4 years of college listening to some fucking schmuck tell you how to live your life. Maybe you just don't have interest in sitting in a cubicle or going to an office every day. I would definitely say maybe try trade work. Although I'm not gonna lie, trade work is not for everyone. Not at all. As a matter of fact, there's other fields you could go into. Sales, nursing, male nurses. Shout out to my nurses. I know you guys hate that term. Yeah, it's another one that's got a little bit, I feel like it's got a stigma attached. I'm not in that world, but as far as I can tell, I mean, like all you see in pop culture. I remember watching Scrubs as a kid. My dad threw that on. That was one of our shows. We'd watch Scrubs. And there was an episode about the male nurse, the nurse, and they're like, who is this guy? What is he doing? A nurse? And, the guy's like, hey, I'm just trying to do my job and do a good job. And at the end of the episode, everyone respects him for it, I think. And it's been a while. But, don't hate someone because of their career choice. Hate someone because of who they are, Yeah, no, I from what I heard, travel nurses make a shit ton. Fucking in-house nurses make pretty good money, great benefits. Sales, bro, you can make some real money. Obviously, you'll have your downtimes, slow season. But move my seat up. But yeah, you can make some serious money. You can learn some skills, learn how to talk to people, be bigger and better things. I got a buddy of mine who's doing sales right now, and he's trying to make a career out of it. He's got his other passions like me. I do stand-up. He does art. I'll eventually have him on the show at some point and kind of explain more about sales because I don't actually understand sales too much. I think the most experience I have in sales is maybe like unintentionally trying to upcharge a customer on a product. No, not actually. I don't like to do all that jazz. But I used to work food back in high school. I was working at like a sub shop for a little bit. And I remember I was taking this in out already. I was talking to some guy ordered a sub. And I remember I was making the sub for him. I worked at like a D'Angelo's, some shitty sub shop like that. Prices were all right at the time. Food was but not as good as home cooked. But I was working at a D'Angelo's. I remember the fucking bread roll broke in half. And I told the guy, I was being honest with him, like, listen, got your sandwich done, but the bread's sliced in half. If you want, I can redo it. If not, here you go. And the guy was just so impressed with how straightforward I was. He told me, hey man, if you're ever looking for a job, swing by this dealership and we could hook you up. I told the guy, I'm in high school, but thank you. I'll let you know. And I just remember all the coworkers there. It was all like middle-aged woman, a middle-aged fucking woman were looking at me like, who's this fucking guy? I used to get made fun of that one fucking sub shop. They used to think I was like slow. It was crazy. I remember like I would take my like not take my time, but I'd do a good job washing the floors. And they'd always make fun of me. Why are you taking so damn long or something like that? And it's like, I don't know. So there's not piss and shit on the floor. Or got a fucking D'Angelo's lady. I don't know. People don't care about the work sometimes, but I do. But sales is good. Sales is definitely not a bad career. Nursing, trades. I mean, shit, even like going to school for business and stuff like that. Doesn't have to always be about the main STEM or this and that. You got to do what you want to do. You got to do what fits best for your focus. Life gives you a deck of cards. Life gives you a hand. You got to play your best with it. And for me, it was I figured out I got these people who recommended me this. Let me try it out. I'm doing it. It's all right. Could be better. Could be worse. It's not. I can't complain. It's not bad. It's weird though. It's weird. I got into comedy after I got into the trades, which I don't really know how that usually works. I think comedy happens to most people. I would say most people that go into stand up are usually doing a job first and then they eventually get into stand up, although you got some young heads that get into the craft before they do a career. And I do see people make this mistake of going full send into stand up, and I don't think that's you kind of have to full send stand up, but you should also make sure that you could like afford to live, don't work at Chipotle your whole fucking early 20s. Maybe learn a skill. I mean, shit, even going to college, like, sure, you're spending more time not doing comedy, but, like, what else are you doing with your time, Like, what? You're going to go work a job that doesn't pay enough? I get it. I get it, though. Like, what other opportunities do I have? How do I get in? I do think that's actually another issue with trade work for people trying to break in is, like, I feel like a lot of guys my age or even younger, maybe a little bit older, they just don't know how to put their foot through the door first. And that's definitely like a little bit of an issue. It's tough. And like some of these guys, they might already be in debt. They might already be in a tough situation and maybe they can't really afford the payment. But I think in life, you really got to figure out, you got to wiggle out some way of how can I make this work? How can I invest in myself? How can I make my time worth it? Even if it feels like if I'm like toiling my time, how can I make this toil at least seem like I'm gaining something out of it? And apprenticeship is a lot like that. Doing the apprenticeship is kind of like that for me, at least. When I was an apprentice, I was like probably an apprentice for about like 4.5 years, roughly. I, wouldn't always work a full 40, took 2 months off between jobs or something, shit like that. Vacations, et cetera. But you come to realize, maybe I'm not making the money I thought I'd be making as an apprentice, but at least you're learning a skill. And I think that's what matters is investing your time, even if you're not making the money you want to do. If it's leading up to a big investment that pays off in the end, then it's definitely worth it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think you're going to be maximizing the amount of money you want to make in your 20s. I think your 20s is really about building skill sets and making connections and meeting people and understanding who your allies are and aren't, understanding who's cool and who isn't cool, figuring out yourself. When I was young, when I was like in high school, I by the time I was in my senior year, I was just so clocked out. And I don't mean clocked out of life. I mean just clocked out of the system. Like I just didn't care anymore. It was just like, why am I here? I don't care about this shit. I don't care about math. I don't care about this or that. Some things I found interesting, but other stuff I just couldn't care, and so I struggled with it. And I ended up dropping out of my senior year math class because turns out you don't need it in the state of Mass, at least, to go graduate. I just wanted to break into the trades and do that instead. And shit, I forgot where I was. Something about breaking in. Oh, breaking in. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't do that. Didn't care enough. Now I'm here. Happy at least. My own problems, my own battles. Yeah, breaking into the trades is tough though. Like I said, I mean, I like a lot of guys just can't figure it out. And I think it was like I had an easier time breaking in than other people. My school had like a dual enrollment program, so I think the weird thing about having that sit down with my old man at 16 about what am I going to do with my life because you're not going to go to college was kind of important because it made me realize I need to like lock in now so I could prep myself for the best I can, really prepare for everything. Not everything, but prepare the best I can. And that really did help because I remember I got called in by a guidance counselor. Fine, shoddy. Yeah, I don't know what's up with those guidance counselors these days, dude. Fucking. I haven't been in fucking high school in years though, so I don't know. I don't know what the norm is now, but this counselor that was talking to me, she asked me, she said, you didn't do the college stuff, so what do you plan on doing? I told her, oh, electrical. And I remember her eyes, she was like a little bit like tired and just bug-eyed, like, oh, really? But because I told her that, she then told me about a dual enrollment program, and that's what I did. I did this program my senior year of high school where I was able to show up late. I didn't have to show up till like 12, and I just would go do a night class at a local vocal tech school, voc tech school. Did that for a couple of hours, like a hands-on, hands-off type of thing, and it really worked out to my favor. I saved a lot of time with it. I really made use out of it. It was during COVID. All the online shit sucked. I can't stand learning online. Yeah, believe it or not, when you go into the trades, you still have to learn. Unfortunately, still have to learn. You can't get away from it. There's always going to be some type of learning. But when it came down to actually taking my school test, well, not my school test, but taking my test to get my license, it made me realize that like I don't even know how long this thing's like going on for. I guess I'll just figure out a stopping point at some point. When I went to go take I think I started like 6:30, 6:40, 7:09. All right, 20 minutes so far. I think when I sorry about that, bang. When I went to go take my journeyman's test though to get my license, I didn't, the school helped with some things, but that wasn't my answer. If I just relied on the school's information, I would have failed. I had to outsource. I had to figure out what works for most people, and I did that. I went online, I talked to people, figured out there's certain study guides out there that like people, some guys worked for the exam course, the exam for the state. They wrote it and then they left, and then they wrote their own study guides, and that's how you pass. Really, is you learn these study guides that have like a lot of problems on the study guide. They're actually on the test, believe it or not. It's it's kind of like it kind of reminds me of like the government a little bit, right? Like you got these people who work for the government, and then maybe you have some company saying, "Oh, you allow this or that, we'll get you a job right after." Okay, they do that and they get paid a gazillion dollars. No, but that's what it is though. Like with tech school and stuff, like you're gonna learn some stuff, but honestly, it's like it's up to you to actually really figure it out, make it work. So it's worth it though, I think at least. At least I'll never be out of a job type shit. Maybe I will. I don't know. Electrical isn't recession proof, but it's pretty damn close. I think recession proof stuff is probably like elevator guys, maybe certain HVAC. I mean, obviously electrical, right? Your fridge goes out, you're gonna want get that back up ASAP so you can have your food, or your power goes out, you want to get that back up ASAP. But it's not for everything. You know, you're gonna have your highs and lows in the trade. You're gonna have your battles. You're gonna have people you're gonna have to deal with. It sucks. Don't know what to tell you. I would say honestly, I mean, you just got to deal with it and hope for the best. Pray that the worst doesn't happen. I have this saying, hope for the best, but expect the worst when I walk into jobs. I never think a job's going to be easy. Whenever I walk into a service call or a job site, I expect it to be absolute hell. And then when it's not absolute hell, it makes my day 10 times easier. But when it is hell, at least I'm ready for it, you know? Yeah. A lot of guys do have problems sticking their foot through the door. I know one guy. I don't even talk to him anymore. He's kind of part of my crew, but crew of friends, the inner squad. And he was, from what I could tell, he wanted to break into the field, trade work in general. I don't know what part, but he worked this job. He didn't really like. He kind of worked with tools, but he wasn't really a big fan of it, from what I could tell. But it paid the bills, and that's what mattered. But he just couldn't get that foot through the door. And you ever notice how like you see all these advertisements for college? Like, oh, go to this place, get X amount of credits off, or oh, join the Air Force, get this amount of credits off, or all these advertisements for different colleges. You don't really see that with like voc tech schools and trades and stuff. It's kind of weird. It's just not really promoted as much. And I don't know. I don't know what that is. I don't know what's the incentives. I know college is kind of like they have the incentives of like to get more people in because that's how they get paid. I think trades is kind of like that. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why it's so hard for someone to get the foot through the door. It just is. I'm definitely fortunate like that. I'm definitely fortunate. Didn't have to fight my way through the door and everything. It was more or less like, okay, let's plan this out. We'll figure it out and go as we go. And that's what I did. Now I'm licensed. Now I'm just trying to figure out what's next, But I guess I know the original point was comedians who different types of comedians who get into the doing comedy. Like me. Got my clown nose. Got my clown nose on my hat to prove it. Yeah, no, I see a couple of comedians who are like you know the type. Anyone who does open mic comedy knows. You go to these mics and you see these people. You think you have a bad time. Wait until you hear these poor fuckers, bro. Holy shit. Yeah, sometimes I'm like, I don't know how. I don't know how I got through the day. And then you listen to these guys' stories. Yeah, I slept in my car last night. And you're like, oh, I don't have it that bad, do I? Yeah, I don't know. It's comedy's cool. Comedy's fun. You can get booked, shit. You can get paid, but comedy doesn't pay the bills, right? Like featuring doesn't pay the bills. A feature might get you $20 to $50. Maybe if you're featuring multiple nights a week, that's like what, 5 nights a week, maybe if you're lucky. $20 to $30 for features are like 50, I think, 50 or less. Yeah, it's $50 a day though. I mean, maybe if you're getting multiple nights in, you could, if you did 3 features in a night, which good luck, that's $150. But I mean, you got to really headline, and even then, it's like you got to really sell out places. I know headliners are making like around like $200 for like the average bar headliner. That's actually not bad, but it's not great, Like you work a day job and then you headline. There you go. But even then, that's really difficult to do. Writing down up to an hour of like decent enough material to get booked all the time. Yeah. Good luck off rip doing that, brother. Yeah. You just started comedy 2 years ago. You think you're ready to headline? Good luck. Yeah. See how that goes. You ever go to like a comedy show and the headliner is like, this guy from social media, TikTok, Instagram is now touring. Please welcome to the stage. And then he does his 40-minute set. Absolute dog shit, makes up half the shit as he goes. You could tell it's getting an actual real headliner is kind of difficult because like true comedy that's good is when you listen to it, it'll make you laugh versus some guy who's just kind of rambling on stage because he's got some clicks online. Yeah, it's real. I don't know, it's weird for me. Breaking into comedy was weird though. I think what brought me into comedy was multiple things. Like I knew I was crazy. I knew I was like crazy enough to do it, but I wasn't like really. I didn't really understand it enough. Like I never really watched stand up. I think the closest thing I got to stand up was watching Burt Kreischer's The Machine when one of my buddies sent me the video. You gotta check this clip out, dude. Okay, what is it? And then the Machine clip. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. That was my real first taste. That and like Tosh.0. But I never knew what stand-up was, It was, What really brought me into stand-up, though, I think, was between a friend of mine at the time who brought me to shows and said I should try it. But what really brought me in was I was in a relationship with a nice gal. She was not bad. She was nice to me, and we were in this relationship. And just over time, I started to realize she didn't really like me for who I was, but rather she liked me for being her boyfriend. She wanted to kind of shape me and change me, get her claws. You're mine. Get her claws into me. You're mine now. Get over here. Ah. Women have a tendency to do that sometimes. I don't know. I'm not really in the dating scene right now, but back then it was kind of like that. She wanted me to try and talk to her uncle about getting me a job, and it was gonna be. I kind of saw the writing on the wall. I was in a tough spot too. I was an apprentice electrician. I was like hopping between jobs because the shop I was at just wasn't working out. I went to another shop and that didn't work out. And I was like, I was burnt. I was burnt out. No money. Had a girlfriend. She was upset. I was just depressed, and she didn't fuck with that energy. I don't know who would fuck with that energy though. I don't blame her. I wouldn't want to be dating a bum. Can't blame her for that. So she's trying to help, but at the same time, she's trying to change me into her perspective, and came to realize that's what I didn't want to do. And I realized I wasn't really happy in this relationship anymore, and then I broke it off, and I was in love with this gal. I was when you're young like that, when you really have a passion for someone like that, and it wears away, and then you come to realize you spend all your free time with this person, always talking to them, always doing things, and all of a sudden all that free time is gone, and now you're alone and by yourself. And what do you do now? Tried going back to video games. Yeah, that worked for like a month. I was on the games all day, son, get out of work and on the games all day. And something inside of me was just kind of like clicking, ticking. I don't know. It's just that I didn't just playing games all the time just didn't feel right for me. Not saying that might not feel right for you. In fact, that might be the best thing for you, playing games all day, because you don't know what else to do with your free time. I don't know if I blame you. Games are pretty cool. But it just felt like I should be doing something with my time. I remember one night, no one was on the game. I was just by myself playing something stupid. I was just so bored of playing games, though. I was like, all right, let me go to the bar and shoot some pool. I was like 22 at the time. I went to this dive bar, the City Oasis, on a Wednesday night. The bar was fucking empty. I was by myself playing pool by myself for like 2 hours. Kept shooting these balls, just like just doing it, just in the motion, just thinking, what the fuck am I doing with my life? And after that night, I realized, all right, let me try this stand-up shit out. And so, I was listening to, I listened to like Rogan before. I didn't really know he was a stand-up at the time, to be honest. I just knew Rogan. And I realized, I remember he mentioned a bunch of these old comics. So I started looking into like the original, like not original, but I started looking at like Golden Age and late Golden Age comics. Hicks, Kennison, Patrice, Dice Clay, Jennings. I mean, all those guys. And just started getting into it bit by bit. Eventually, I talked to my buddy, said, hey, let's go do this open mic. He drove me out there. We did the mic. I was like the first one to show up, and I was like the last one to leave. I was there from like 7 to like 12. It was brutal. It was a mixed bucket mic. And it was also like, it's one of those mics where it's like the regulars go first, which, I don't blame them. Just sucks. Just sucks when you show up at that time and like, you gotta wait the whole fucking night. What was weird was that NPR was there. And dude, I had this whole outfit on, right? I didn't like this. Keep in mind, this is my first ever open mic. I didn't know what comedy was. I still don't really know I know I have a better taste of it, but I'm not like super funny. Just gotta have a 6-month hiatus. Give me a break, But I was at this open mic, and I think it was NPR or some college station. They're like, "Oh, are you doing comedy?" I'm like, "Oh yeah." I had like a fucking neon vest on, clear pit vipers, shirt tucked in, crazy looking shoes, jeans. I looked like a fucking maniac, dude. I was on one. I was at this shitty dive bar with these two college kids, you know, college kids in Boston. And they're asking me, and I didn't even know what the fuck I was saying. They're like, "What's your name?" And I'm like, the fat I use some alias or something stupid, and then a buddy of mine got their information, so in case I went up, they could like record. Like I think they planned on using me as like an example of like. I remember one of the questions they asked was like, "Do you feel inclusive in this environment?" I'm like, looking around. I just got there like 10 minutes ago. I'm like, yeah. No, they did not like me there when I first. It was awful. Dude, I suffered. The first mic I went to, that first night, it was like 12 o'clock. I went up and I had like one joke that kind of worked with a bunch of college guys. I looked crazy, by the way. That one joke kind of got a laugh. And I was like, okay, I can do this now. I went back the next week, bombed. It was awful. Room was silent. I was defeated. And turns out there was a bet, I guess, between two of the comics, two of the veterans of the scene. And they're like, "So, do you think he comes back?" "Well, I'll see." Something like that. And I remember the next week I came back and he's like, "Oh, look at that. He came back." I remember hearing that. I'm like, "Oh, those bastards." And that's what it was. And then I bombed for about a month straight. It was awful. And then finally I got some type of timing down. I wrote something better. I remember trying to actually learn 5 minutes without paper, doing comedy without looking at your paper. Took me a whole weekend just to practice, just to bomb. Spent a whole weekend of my time just learning how to tell a joke that wasn't even good. It was worth it, though. I learned some skills that way. You know, that's what it is. You're toiling your time, but you're learning something throughout it. It's a weird process like that. You just got to be careful you don't toil your time and you learn nothing from it. There's a big difference between the two, you know? And, yeah. No, yeah, so I started doing that. And then I found out about the Providence scene through that same buddy told me he met up with a kid that was in my grade. And he told me he was doing comedy in Providence. And I said, "Oh, shit, Providence is a lot closer than, you know, Boston for where I am." So I went down to Providence. And by the time I went down to Providence, I kind of had some jokes. Not really, you know. And it just worked better like that. And I kind of did it. But it really took me some time to get on it. I wasn't getting booked at all. I wasn't really playing the game, though. The game of comedy is weird. You got to rub shoulders. You got to meet people. I was meh on that at the time. I still am kind of meh on that now. Like, I like rubbing shoulders and meeting people. I'm just not going to shows right now. But also, trying to actually build up material, trying to write more, trying to do more things, get shit that works. It's tough, though. It's tough trying to remember those cues, how to write, how to just, like, be funny. You know how tough it is to be funny? Like, yeah, it's easy to be funny around your friends, but be funny around a bunch of strangers, dude? No context, just jokes. Dude, I used to do this one joke. I still kind of do it sometimes. It's I would talk about like dating beforehand, and I'd be like, "Oh, you know, dating is a lot like Heineken, you know." You know, I like the two together. Dating, Heineken, something expensive, foreign, imported through shipping containers. It was like one of those vile jokes, basically, just like comparing the two. And like, yeah, I literally would shut the room up with that, or it hit. It's an awful joke, but I have fun. Yeah, I got to keep writing, man. That's the main thing, is just keep going with it. Keep doing what I'm doing. Keep fighting my battles. Yeah, right now I'm at that point where I just need to keep writing. I want to keep getting better and better, get my 10, 15 down, and then start getting booked. Get back on the shows. The website isn't actually online yet. It's just kind of the template for it. I still got to insert all the commands. Believe it or not, I think coding your own website might be not like actually coding, like no, that's dude, code will take care of that for you, you know? Fucking GPT, easy if you want something basic. The website kind of reminds me of like a Linktree page, but it's not actually Linktree is like a disgusting format. It's like you click on it, it's just like plain screen with a bunch of links. Usually OnlyFans girls use it, but no, the website's cool because it's got like that graphics, got the image behind it. It's gonna have like the videos you can click on, sends you to YouTube and shit. I heard before you don't really want to build on a quicksand with your castle. You know, you don't want to build up on like YouTube like that, I guess. But I think when you're starting out, I just need to reach out to the general audience, like you guys, kind of learn how to be funny, learn how to do my thing. It's gonna be weird. It's gonna be cool. I'm excited. It's gonna be something, you know? It's gonna be something. Now I'm just working on trying to get back out there. I'm just doing like 2 to 3 mics a week, but eventually I want to get back up to like 3 to 4 and then 4 to 5. 4 to 5, excuse me. Taste my dinner from earlier. Get to like 4 to 5, really get those sets down, get that rhythm going, and then start getting booked. I think that's the game plan. I was actually gonna go out to comedy tonight, but I don't know. It took me like all weekend to set this whole fucking thing up. I mean, it took me weeks to actually like get between the podcast equipment, get the studio set up, figure out what I want to do, and then learn how to use the interface, dude. Learn how to use technology. Like, dude, I wired my own lighting, set up my own cameras, you know, figured out how shit works. But dude, like trying to actually learn that shit, fucking, ugh. I get it. Like, I get how people make careers out of it for right now, at least. I mean, it's complicated. And yeah, I was thinking about maybe hiring a producer or something, but I think it's better actually learn how to become a one-man band and then eventually maybe outsource and get help. Yeah, I think I'm going to use this basis like to platform, maybe talk to whoever's listening. I don't know who's listening. Talk to someone who's listening. Figure out what I want to do next. I know eventually my magnum opus, I think, for my mid-20s, is going to be filming sketch videos and really getting that shit down. I got some good ideas. I just got to write them out. But I think what's good about the podcasting is I can just kind of spit freely. I don't know. I don't really get a chance to talk freely. You know, I never... It's even when you go talk with your friends or like talk with people you love and care about, you can't really bite their ear off the whole time, you know? You kind of got to be like, oh, yeah, so how are you? Can't really just rant like what I'm doing now, which is kind of nice. Yeah, that's funny. You go to these open mics or you talk to these, you know, comedians, artists, people, and whenever they just talk about me, it just becomes the most boring fucking conversation you'll ever have. What's cool about podcasting is if you're listening, hey, you're listening. You don't, you know, type in the comments, you know, see what's going on. But what's cool about podcasting, I think, is I can just keep ranting. See, I don't have to worry about keeping the flow of conversation going. I'm just going to rant, you know, keep the conversation going for what I'm talking about. But like when you're in person and someone just keeps talking about themselves, it can just get so fucking obnoxious. Like, dude, I don't care, you know? Like, maybe I do care. Maybe if it's someone I really like and I'm really interested, I'm like, oh, yeah, go on. But, you know, when you talk to people and it's just me, it's kind of tough to keep a conversation going, you know? And that's why I'm here. That's why I'm ranting to you guys, whoever's listening. Maybe it's a tradesman. Maybe it's a comedian. Maybe it's someone who's just bored, wants to listen. I don't know. I'm young. Got a young man's perspective. Got drive. Got passion. Got creativity. All wound up inside of me. You know, trying to just get that out there. Trying to just figure out how I can not make my mark in the world. No. In fact, if I die, let me die peacefully. But I don't know. Just want to do something, I guess. Something that feels right to me. And this is what feels right. Talking to you. Because I care about you. You know? Who else will? I really got to bring more water next time. Holy shit. Still recording. Still looking good. Cool. This is my first recording. So, I mean, I did a test, but I don't really know how shit works, to be honest with you. I'm not really a tech guy. Kind of look Amish by the side shot. That's crazy. I gotta like get the beard trimmed down. I look like a bum. So we do hat on or hat off next time. I don't know. I thought the clown nose on the hat's kind of cool. That might be my thing. Clown nose hat guy. That's my thing. You know, you got the skit guys. You ever notice that the shorts? What's up with shorts? I don't like they can be funny, but I noticed with shorts you're kind of stuck to one format and you can't really move around with it. There's not really much versatility. It's just kind of one meme. And it might work for a couple of months and you might build up a small following, but I feel like you're kind of stuck. And I feel like some of these guys then end up not really knowing what to do with their time, become YouTube boxers. You guys remember the running in place guy from a couple of years ago? He's like, yeah, I'm the running in place guy. I always run in place really fast. I'm never moving. And that was his thing. And he was like a YouTube boxer. And then God only knows where he is today. Shooting up heroin on the side of a Denny's in LA or something. Yeah, it's kind of funny. Like, I don't... Shorts are cool. Shorts are funny. I just, I don't know. I don't really enjoy, like, you think about it, and it's just shorts don't really have that lasting effect like actual media, not actual media, but, like comedy does, like music does, like actual stand-up comedy, I guess, actual sketch comedy. When you're the shorts guy, you're kind of just remembered for that one thing you do. I'm the running in place guy. Let me box. Okay, I'm time to shoot up heroin inside of Denny's. You know? The running in place guy. God bless his soul. I hope you're doing well, bud. Like, what the how do you get that idea? How does that blow up on TikTok? What do the Chinese... Nah, I'm just playing. Who creates these algorithms, though? What? Oh, that's loud. That's gonna be loud when I'm producing this, moving the mic around. Probably shouldn't actually move the table around. I got these two magazines held together by wire standing up right now. Sick. Oh my god, the running in place guy. Yeah, you got it's kind of like sketches, you know. It's kind of like it's got that aspect of a sketch, but it's like the same sketch over and over and it's the same thing, right? Like, I think it's like The Office, but it's just one guy, and he's trying to cover, like, all bases, but he can't really cover all bases because he only works in, like, one position, or maybe he's trained in two, you know? And then he's just trying to fill, all right, change of season, fall dressing, fall weather. That's what we're gonna... That's it. This is what it's like to be in an office during the fall. Oh, where's my Starbucks? Oh, you know, it's like... I have this one really genius idea on the skits or the shorts, but I don't want to sell out. It's like kind of a sellout type of thing. I don't know if it's selling out or not, but it's I don't know, maybe it's the meta now. Let me try this first. Let me try and cut these up. Let me try and do an actual podcast episodes, cut these up, see if we get some traction, some movement, you know. I'll try it out. We'll see what happens. I'm not actually going to quit after like 3 episodes, but we'll figure it out, you know? It's what you got to do in life. You got to figure it out. You always got to figure it out. It's better to figure out now than later. You don't want to waste your time doing something you don't want to do. It's weird like that. Time. Something I got against most billionaires when you're young and you're 24. Time. Don't waste it. I feel like I've met a lot of people in my life who've wasted it. Between coworkers, family, my own mother, she wasted a lot of time. She, I don't know, it's weird. I'm not like anti-woman or anything. I just like, I feel like sometimes like if you waste, like when you're a parent and you waste your time, shame on you. Like, don't toil your time if you got kids. Like, make sure, you know, you provide something to them. Give them a chance. Give them a fighting chance to do something. You know, I remember when I told my mom I want to do trade work, she looked at me and she's like, huh? You want to go into the trades? It's after the divorce when my mom lived in an apartment. The only reason she could afford the apartment was because of child support. She worked a fucking part-time job, you lazy bitch. Um, you know, I remember she told me, she's like, I told her, yeah, I think I'm going to do electrical once I get out of high school. Yeah, what? You want to do a trade? Why don't you go to college? I went to college. Why don't you go to college? And I remember she'd have her little glass of OJ in her tumbler, mug. Why don't you go to college? And inside that tumbler mug wasn't just OJ, it was a screwdriver. I remember one day I actually grabbed it. I'm like, I'd go have some OJ right now. There's nothing in the fridge. I remember going like that. I'm like, Mom, what's in this cup? She's like, oh, don't drink that. It was like 10 in the morning on like a Thursday. Like, what the fuck, lady? Yeah, she wasted her time. It scares me. Yeah, not her. I don't talk to her anymore. She's a bum. But no, wasting your time is what scares me. Realizing that it's fully possible to become an absolute fucking beanbag of a person, an absolute slob, an absolute waste to society, just being a leech, living off of someone else's paycheck because you have kids. And that's why you need a gazillion dollars a month to pay rent. It's tough. My old man, he put in a good fight to get custody of me and my sisters, and he won, thankfully. My mom was a terrible parent, believe it or not. Turns out it's pretty hard to lose custody of your kids when you're a woman. Yeah, I guess you have the advantage in court. We'll do like a little basketball movement with a little, but I'm sitting down. I don't want to shake the table and everything fall apart like my life. Yeah, no. Yeah, my dad eventually won custody. And I remember what happened was after he won custody, he didn't have to pay child support anymore. And because my mom just toiled her time away and wasted it, she couldn't afford the rent anymore. And she was moving out. I remember asking her, so what are we going to do? And she said, oh, you're going to move in with your dad's because I can't afford you kids anymore. I was 16. I had another sibling who's 13 at the time. And it's kind of a weird thing to hear from a parent. I can't afford you anymore. Like I'm a dog. Like I'm a luxury good. Like what does that mean, you know? Like how could you say that to someone that you would love? You should unconditionally love. I can't afford you anymore. It's not like we're in tough times. It's not like this is World War II when, people legit, in certain country, even today in certain countries, look, we're not in a third world country, can't afford you anymore. Wasn't the fact that she couldn't afford us. It's just she didn't want to work to afford us. She didn't want to work to, support her kids. It's a tough thing. Remember that last day she dropped me off. It's a cold spring day. We took our bags out. We said goodbye. She said bye like she was dropping us off at school. And walked in through the door. Told my dad, yeah, Mom said we're living here full time. And he said, I've never heard anything like that, but okay. And he took me, his arms open. I'll forever be grateful for that, man. It's, sorry. Don't mean to get emotional. It's tough, it's tough when someone you thought that loved you unconditionally then turns out might have viewed you as just an object to live, payroll. It hurts. It really does. But my dad took me in with his open arms and he let me live here and he let me grow. Let me become who I am today, and I'm goddamn proud of it. I'm proud that I'm in the trades. I'm proud that I'm representing his name. I take great pride in my work. Take great pride on who I am. Promised myself I would not make any. I'm going to try my best to not make any mistakes, not hurt anyone, because I fight for his good name. And for all you people out there, I don't know who's listening or not, who, trying to find a reason to fight, keep going. Fight for your family name, You don't even have family. Maybe your family's a bunch of scumbags. Create your family name. Do something. It's tough. I get it. Trying to find the motivation. Trying to question why I'm here right now. Isn't a mother always supposed to love her children? Guess not. But, fight for what's right for you. Make yourself proud. When no one else does. Make yourself proud. And if you are fortunate enough to have someone, you care about, a little family name or something, then, yeah, fight for them. Every day is a battle and life's the war. You're going to have days that you win, days that you lose. I think the biggest thing that I learned is maybe you lose one battle, you could win another one. Don't put all your chips in one place, Spread your battles out. Win what you can. Lose honorably if you have to. Yeah, so my mom was a scumbag. That's what it is. That's what it is, guys. Sometimes, you get good parents, you get bad parents. Maybe you don't even get parents, Maybe you're a fucking orphan. It is what it is. These are the deck of cards you were handed. Time to play them, buddy. Fucking 7 and a 2. How do I make this work? Double down. I lost like $700 on a cruise over the winter. I probably paid like $700 for the fucking ticket. I felt like such a dope. Never gamble on cruise boats, by the way. They're rigged. Yeah. Don't waste your money when you're young. Kind of made that mistake. I remember when I started saving up a little bit of dough, I was like, you know what? I could go for a new bag right now. New trade bag. I got like a leather tool bag. I overloaded it with tools, stretched the fuck out of the leather, and now it's just sitting in my closet. I think it was like a $300 bag. I felt like such a dope. I bought like an $800 laptop only for it to be like, it costs like $300 now. Like I was terrible with my money when I was young. Yeah, live cheaply. Just live when you're young, and if you got no one to impress, save your money, dude. I think that's like probably... Actually, I kind of saved my money, but wasn't great with it. I didn't have great financial advice growing up. My financial advice was I got an allowance. That was pretty sweet. $2 a week back in like 2016. I could afford an Arizona iced tea. Oh, yeah. An Arizona iced tea and maybe a 35-cent pack of gum, baby. Save that cash up for 2 weeks and maybe I could get a snack. I remember I was into comic books a lot, and I would try and find some comic books in my town. I just could never find any with all my allowance. I remember I ended up donating my entire allowance because I was just like, dude, I can't. I just feel defeated right now. It was tough. Found out you could do all that shit online later on. That was cool. I'm just kind of rambling at this point. I'm gonna take a look at the time. Sorry, I don't actually know I don't know what the fuck I'm doing here. We're at an hour and 8. That's not bad. I gotta learn how to clip this. That's gonna be terrible. No, I'm not really worried. Everything's still recording. That's sick. Still on. That's cool. First episode, guys. What do you expect? I think in the next few episodes, I'm going to do solo. And then once I really get the hang, I'm going to start bringing on guests. I got a buddy of mine who's an iron welder. I got a few buddies who do HVAC. One's a comedian, one's not. Got a buddy of mine who's a salesman, guy who does like furt and lawn stuff. Got a pool electrician. I got other people, dude, I want to bring on to the show. I don't know what the show is going to turn out to be. I wanted it to have like more of a cyberpunk feel, but it's like I got like black tarps all around me right now. I brought in one of my normie buddies and he said this looks like a serial killer's hut. I was like, oh, sick. But you got to make the best out of it. That's what it is. Got to do what you can, right? Got to try and just fight. Fight every day. Fight every day like it's your last. Put care and effort into your work, man. Sorry, like I said, this is my first episode, so I have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm just ranting. That's what, like I said, that's what's cool about podcasts. So you can kind of just rant, keep going and going and going. I'm probably boring right now. I'm probably snoozing. I was gonna do like 3 hours today. I'm already at an hour. I'm like not running out of steam, but I'm just like running out of points to make. Just talking about my life, talking about what's going on. My mom went to she got a liberal arts degree. That fucking idiot. She's telling me to go to college. Like, dude, what? You're drinking a screwdriver at like 8 in the morning on a Thursday, dude. Shouldn't you be at work? Yeah. I remember I told her one time, I'm like, you could probably ask for raises. And I remember her saying to me, that's actually a good idea. It's like, dude, you're like 43. I'm like 15. What are we doing here? Oh, she kicked out one of my older siblings because I ate all the olives one time. It's a story for another day. Oh, man. I don't know if I want to end it here or not. I want to keep going on and on and on. But what time is it? Is it 8 o'clock yet? 7:40. We'll end at 8. Another 15 minutes. Maybe I'll just end now. You know what? Let's just end it now. Call it the first episode. That's a wrap. Did I talk about what I wanted to talk about? What brought me here? Comedy. What's next? I already talked about what's next. I want to do sketches. I'm going to keep going with this. Start clipping it. Learn how to produce. Yeah. I think that's just about it, guys. All right, well, if you enjoyed the video, enjoyed the podcast, enjoyed the clips, do me a favor. Like, subscribe, yada, yada, yada. Website should be up by the time I'm up here. You guys can find me on Instagram. That's my main platform. I really like at I think it's Sammy _the _Hutt. It's probably gonna be the same for like all the other links, threads, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, Reddit maybe, Facebook. I don't. Maybe not Facebook. You guys find me there. Check me out. I'm an open micer. Appreciate the views. I don't know, likes, whatever you want to call it. All right, let's call it there. Guys, have a great night. Thank you. Take care. Take care of yourselves. Love you. I care about you. Bye now.